Another thing is managing your stress and emotions, because I am a working professional. Sometimes it would happen when I will come from office, I will feel very burnt out. I won't feel like studying. So there were a few when I was lagging behind on my preparation. It happened that I didn't feel motivated enough to study. I just wanted to binge watch some TV series and go to sleep. So
Okay.
it is important to take breaks as well. I feel you should not feel burnt out. That will
Right.
eventually be counterproductive. So it is important to take breaks. You can keep a day aside for breaks, but the thing is you should be consistent. Even if you're studying only for an hour daily, you should do that.
Hello everyone. Today we have with us Sugandha. She has cracked the CAT exam with 99.29 percentile. She also got a call from FMS and she successfully converted it. She is the working professional currently working with Infosys, and coming to her educational background, she has pursued B.Tech from Haldia Institute of Technology, West Bengal. And today she is with us to share her CAT preparation journey and also how she cracked the FMS interview. All right. So, hello, Sugandha. Welcome to Krakow Interview Series. And first of all,
Hello.
a big congratulations.
Thank
Congratulations
you.
on converting FMS.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
So, yeah, firstly, let us discuss about your CAT preparation journey. So, can you tell us when you started your CAT preparation and so how did you prepare for each section of the exam?
So actually, my journey started in 2020. I was preparing for PSC examinations when I realized I didn't want a government job. Actually, I didn't want to get into a government job, and I wanted to advance my corporate career instead. But I wanted to
Okay.
do that in a managerial capacity. So I had many people from my alumni network at college who had pursued a degree in management, and I thought, okay, why not give it a try? Maybe this is something that I can do. So I wrote CAT just to test the waters in 2020, and I
Okay.
scored a very average score of 93 percentile. I conducted a few IIMs as well with that score, uh, a few baby IIMs, and I thought
Okay.
that gave me an exposure to the process, and I thought, okay, maybe this is something that I can do, and I should start preparing seriously. So my actual preparation journey started in April 2021. That is when I enrolled into Krakow's course, and I bought the test series
Okay.
and box, which included sectionals as well. And that is when I started preparing seriously for CAT. So the first step towards preparation was to clear my basics. So I think the YouTube videos that Krakow had posted on their channel, and the test series and the mocks as well helped me a lot. I made a schedule from day one, as Saili ma'am had mentioned in one of her videos actually, like how to prepare for CAT in 6 months. So
Yeah. Okay.
wrote down my schedule and I stuck to it. And I made sure that whatever was on my plate on a particular day, I cleared it out. And that is how I proceeded. So if I got stuck, I would leave that topic and go ahead, and later I would try to come back to it and solve questions. So my strategy was pretty much same for all the sections. I think VARC was my strong suit because I used to read a lot, and I also worked
Okay.
as an editor for my college tabloid in my college days. So that way I had a strong command on language. So
Okay.
VRC was somewhat easy for me. But DILR and QA, even though I'm from an engineering background, I thought that I somehow was lagging in those two sections. So I started building up my abilities in those two sections. I started solving puzzles like Sudoku and Kakuro that come out in
Great.
newspapers daily, and gradually I developed that aptitude to see a DILR set and recognize the type of question. Like there are many questions in a DILR set, many types of questions. It can be a missing table kind of a question, or a Venn diagram question, so or a permutation and combinations question. So the key is the trick to recognize the kind of question. So gradually
Yeah.
with practice over time, I started to recognize the sets, the types of sets. And similarly for QA, I think clearing the basics was of utmost importance. And once that happened, it is all about building up your speed and accuracy.
Okay, so now let's discuss about the mocks. So how many mocks did you take, and what was your mock analyzing strategy? Like, how did you come up with the final strategy that you implemented eventually?
So actually, I see people buying many test series from different institutes, but I actually bought only Kraku's mocks and I stuck to it
Okay.
because I think it is better to stick with one resource and be thorough with it than bantering about and just tinkering with every resource. So I brought all the mocks. It contained 15 mocks and 45 sectionals, 15 for each section. So mocks, I will admit that I didn't take all the mocks because in between the low scores started to demotivate me kind of. So I took
Okay.
5 mocks initially and then I skipped 2 3 mocks in between. But then gradually I picked myself up and then started taking more mocks. So in between, what I did, I went to practice sectionals, and I started to solve sectionals from areas where I was weak. So
Right.
they're distributed. They also have a label. The sectionals also have a label called easy, medium, and difficult. So whenever I would
Right.
feel demotivated, I would go to the easy sectionals, and then I'll attempt them. So scoring high in the easy sectionals actually boosted my morale and my confidence,
Yeah.
and then I would progress to the medium sectionals and then the hard level sectionals. So that is how I
Okay.
tackled that period and went about giving the mocks. So I took almost all the mocks except for 2 3 in
Okay.
between.
All right. Okay. Now, speaking of your preparation journey, like, were there any major mistakes that you have done during the initial stages of your preparation? And if yes, what did you learn from them?
So the one mistake that I made was skipping a few mocks because I felt
Okay.
demotivated by my low scores. So that is something I won't recommend doing because it is better to make mistakes in mocks than it is to make those mistakes on the actual exam day.
Actual exam.
So if you are actually making mistakes in mocks, you will learn from them. You still have time. You can improve on your weaknesses, and then you can master those things on the D day. But if you're not taking mocks, you won't make those mistakes. You won't be demotivated, but that will set you back on the actual exam day when you are faced with a question that you are actually weak at. So I feel that is one mistake I made, and if I had taken those mocks, if I had been more consistent with my mocks, my scores would have been boosted, I feel. So that is one mistake that the students shouldn't make. um, Another thing is managing your stress and emotions, because I am a working professional. Sometimes it would happen when I will come from office, I will feel very burnt out. I won't feel like studying.
Right.
So there were a few when I was lagging behind on my preparation. It happened that I didn't feel motivated enough to study. I just wanted to binge watch some TV series and go to sleep. So
Okay.
it is important to take breaks as well. I feel you should not feel burnt out. That will
Right.
eventually be counterproductive. So it is important to take breaks. You can keep a day aside for breaks, but the thing is you should be consistent. Even if you're studying only for an hour daily, you should do that. Like even half an hour
Yes.
or an hour
Yes.
daily, I think you can attempt a sectional. It is 40 minutes long, right?
Right.
So even if you are attempting a 40-minute sectional daily and then analyzing it in the next 20 minutes, I think that will be enough if you do that consistently. So I feel consistency is important, and I lost that somewhere in between. So
Right.
other people should learn from that and maybe shouldn't let that happen
Correct.
in their journey.
All right. Now let's discuss about your interview preparation of FMS. So can you tell us when did you receive the call and when did you start your interview preparation?
So actually, I think it was in the March last week when I got a call for FMS.
Okay.
And when I started my MBA journey, actually, I knew from my fourth year that somewhere wanted to be a manager. I
Okay.
wanted either as an IAS officer who manages a lot of departments under them, or a corporate manager who manages
Right.
again corporate departments under them. So that is something that I was very clear on. Um, so when I started my CAT preparation, basically FMS was my dream school because I come from a very humble background and ROI is a big factor for me. And FMS is known for its ROI. So when I started my
Okay.
CAT
Right.
preparation, it was I was very much centered on FMS. I really wanted to get that call. So when I got that call, I was really happy. But I'd heard a lot of things that FMS only calls people who have scored 99.5 and above percentile. And since I didn't fall in that category, I was a little bit apprehensive that maybe they have called me, but I won't be able to convert. So I feel, so that is why I knew that I had to. absolutely excel at my interview, to be at par with the people who had a composite score greater than me, or who had performed better in CAT than me. So I
Right.
think there are three sections to the interview at FMS. They have introduced a
Okay,
new
sure.
section this time, which is discussion on SOP, and there is an extempore, which has been there forever, and there is this discussion on SOP, and then there is the normal PI process.
Right.
So when you in the SOP, when you're filling the FMS form, they ask you to write an SOP. So it's important to personalize it and tell a story to them and leave hooks in that, so the interviewers can actually ask you questions
Yeah,
from
they can
those
pick up
points
on that
that you
and
are.
then class. Yes.
Yes, so they can actually pick up something from your SOP, the hooks that you have left, and then they can drill deeper on that, and that way you can drive your interview the way you want to. If it is very generic and something that everyone would write, then in that case, I think the interviewers will lose interest, because it is just
Right.
another profile then it can go in any direction. Then they can ask you absolutely anything. So I think there are 10 points for discussion on SOP, and it is very important to actually score in this area to excel at your interview and to have a fair chance at converting FMS. So I feel while writing an SOP, one should be very careful and only mention the points that they are very thorough with, and that they can. It should be something that they are able to confidently talk about.
Right.
Um, Apart from that, for extempore, I think that is a that is a very abstract um, area of preparation.
Okay.
The topics can range from politics to sports to your academic to your academics, or
Work
anything.
X also, I
So
think.
I,
Right.
yes, even workets, and even abstract topics. Like one of the guys in my panel was given a topic blue, so
Okay.
they had to speak on blue. So it they chose to speak about water, because water is associated with the color blue, and how water is
Yeah.
scarce these days in the world, and uh, what we can do about it. So it is up to
Okay.
you in which direction you choose to take it. Any topic can be, so a topic can have multiple interpretations depending on where you how you choose to interpret it and how you choose to take it forward. So if it is an abstract topic, you can speak about anything you want. But if it is very
Right.
specific, suppose they are asking you specifically about your work experience or the area that you work in, then you have to be factual and stick to the facts. Then if you try to make something up, that might be counterproductive, and it might lead to points
Right.
against you. So
Right.
so it depends on what topic you get. And to prepare for extempore, I feel one should keep a knowledge of all the things that are happening around us, and be thorough with the news, the geopolitics scenario, whatever is going on across the world, the economic scenario of the country and the world. And I feel that should suffice. A basic general knowledge of all the things that are
Right.
going on in the world right now. I feel that should suffice for that will cover all the extempore topics. And if there is anything that is specific to you, because this time it also happened that they were based on one's SOP. So if you had mentioned something in your SOP, they would pick that up and they will give that to you as an extempore topic. So if that is the case, you should be thorough with your SOP, both for the SOP discussion as well as the extempore, because you don't know what will come to you on the day of the interview. So that
Right.
is that.
Okay. So, so how was your personal interview like at FMS, and so how did you tackle the interview?
So for me, the FMS interview was my first offline interview across two
Okay.
seasons. That is 2020 and 2021, because the interview process had gone online for the past 2 years. So FMS actually called students to their campus this
To
time,
the
and it was my
campus, yes.
first, yeah, it was my first offline interview experience. So I was I was happy about it, because I feel it is better to interact in person than it is over a screen, and you get a better chance at showing your personality and keep your best foot forward. I was also apprehensive somewhat, because it was the first time I was going to face a panel face to face and
Right.
sit
Right.
across from them across a table, and I didn't know how they were going to react to the
Right.
interview or to my answers. So I was nervous as well. So it was a mixed feeling. It was a mixed bag of emotions. So on the interview day, I was the last one to get interviewed in my panel actually. But I came to know from the people who had went before me that the panel was super chill. So I was lucky to have
Okay.
gotten a relaxed panel. I went
Okay.
in. There was one sir and one ma'am, and they were pretty relaxed. The interview for me, it was very conversational. They sat me down, and then they basically asked me how my day was going, and then they gave me the exemplary topic, a woman entrepreneur that I look up to. So I don't know
Okay.
why they chose to give that topic to me, because I had not written anything in my application related to women
SOP or
entrepreneurs or
something. Okay.
entrepreneurships. Yeah, so I think that was very arbitrary for me. They just randomly assigned a topic to me, but luckily I was able to speak. So I come from Bihar, and so basically there is a local entrepreneur in Bihar who people know a lot.
Okay.
She used to be a daily wage laborer, and then she grew up. She started her own business and grew up to a
Oh.
she grew up an enterprise by herself, and
Okay.
she's an illiterate woman, and doing that by herself, it was a very big feat. So
Uh,
she's known as Kisan Chachi around here. I don't actually remember her real name. I think no one does. Everyone
Okay.
calls her Kisan
Okay. Okay.
Chachi because
Okay.
she's like a farmer aunt. So, and she has
Okay.
also gotten awards like Padam Shri and many such things. So I knew about her, and I had that ready at the back of my mind. So you get 30 seconds to think. I The second I got that, I knew that it is better to speak about her, since I knew a lot about her than someone else who I only knew some things about at the surface. So I chose to speak about her, and I went with that, and my simply went pretty smoothly. It went fine. After that, she asked me to name 5 women entrepreneurs that I looked up to. So
Oh.
I named Kiran
Okay.
Majumdar Shaw, and the founder of Nika, Falguni. I think
Nair.
I'm
Okay.
forgetting her last name. No, Nair, yes.
I,
So they stopped me in between, and then they asked me, like, what do you think makes these people special? What do you think are their traits? Why do people look up? So it went very conversational from there. Then she asked me normal HR questions like, why do you want to do an MBA now? Why didn't you apply in your fourth year of college? Why did you wait 2.5 years to do an MBA? So I had my answer ready, and I told her that I wanted to gain some experience, but also since I told her about my family background, and since I come from this background, I had to get a job and then go for higher
okay.
studies, because I couldn't put more pressure on my parents for paying for my college. So I wanted to pay for my college myself, and they didn't counter question me on that. So that
Okay.
went well. Apart from that, they asked me which specialization I wanted to pick up. So I was divided between consulting and marketing. So she asked me what did I know about marketing. So this is another thing. If you mention a specialization, you should actually have some prior knowledge. They don't expect
Right.
you to be experts, but you should be able
But
to
yeah.
talk something. You should be able to tell something that related to that field, and why do you think you will be a good fit for that specialization. So I actually worked as a managing editor at my college tabloid when I was in college. So
Okay.
my job included marketing the paper, coming up with that paper, and then creating posts and social media stories about the newspaper and putting them up and attracting audience basically. So I told her about that, and I told her that this is something that I had done in my past. I had managed a team. I had marketed my product, which is that newspaper kind of, and I had some experience in that field, and I thought that it was interesting, and I had that potential, and I was sure that with the help of mentors at FMS, I would be able to realize that potential. So I think she was happy
Okay.
with my answer, and the interview went ahead. Then she asked me about the leading marketers, and like which company do I think was good at marketing and was able to sell their products through the sheer will of their marketing. So I mentioned Zomato because their style of marketing is very very quirky, and
Right.
I mentioned their Instagram page where they like try to market their products and engage the customers through various contests and quizzes. So the discussion went in that direction. Then she asked me if I read anything at all. I told her that I was reading a fiction book, Train to Pakistan, at that time. Then she asked me if I read anything in non-fiction. So I
Okay.
told her that I finished Steve Jobs' biography recently. Then she asked me a few questions about Steve Jobs and his life, and like what what uh,
Right.
what what set him apart from the crowd and what made him a leader. So after that, I feel that was that is how it went. And then she asked me a few more questions that, okay, so why should we take you? This is an HR question that she asked me, that
Right.
why do
Right.
you
Right.
think you'll be a good fit at FMS? So this answer should be personalized, I feel, because anyone can say
Right.
that the qualities that they have, they're a hard worker or they're patient and they're a team player, but you should have a very specific quality that you bring to the table and that your peers can learn from you. So again, I told them about my managerial experience at my college tabloid, as well as my project that I'm working currently, and I'm managing a team of I'm spearheading a cross skilling project basically in my company, where I'm encouraging people to cross skill to domains that they are not familiar with, or because I myself did that once I joined this project. So I mentioned that I thought that I had the potential to be a leader,
Okay.
and I feel that
Right.
FMS, which is known to produce leaders, I'll be a good fit because with a little guidance here, I can actually become that. So
Okay.
so that was about my interview experience.
Right.
After
Right.
that, like, we exchanged pleasantries and it was over. Many people said that the FMS interviews were short, but for me it went around 10
Yeah,
fifteen
it was
minutes, a
pretty
good
long.
duration.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had a good feeling
Okay.
after that, and I think almost everyone in my panel had a very chill interview.
Okay, that's wonderful. Actually, thank you so much for sharing all this. Actually, you shared some very in-depth insights about how your interview went. I'm sure it helps, definitely helps a lot of aspirants. All right, now, so can you tell us what other calls did you have?
So as I had basically all the IM calls except for Ahmedabad and Indore.
Okay,
So I converted Kozhikode and Shillong, and all the second generation results are not yet out, but I'm hoping to
okay,
convert them. B and C
right,
I couldn't convert. I'm shortlisted at Lucknow. So
okay,
there is one thing here as well that I would like to
yeah, sure,
discuss, because
yeah, yeah, sure,
I feel because I had a low percentile, I went in with the mindset in my BNC interview that probably I won't be able to convert this. So, but my friend who had a similar percentile, she went ahead and converted C this year. She also had an A
okay,
call. So I feel that is something that we shouldn't do to ourselves, because if you have a call from B school, you have a fair shot at converting it. So you should go ahead and put your best foot forward and not think too much about the competition that you have currently and the profiles that you're competing with, because all that is in the past, and now that you have got this
right,
call, you should try your best. So you should not let your this come in between of your interviews or your performance actually.
correct, yes. Now, finally, what is some advice that you'd like to give the future CAT aspirants and also MBA aspirants in general?
So one thing that I would like to talk about, if you're working and preparing for CAT, is that it is very easy to feel demotivated and not study and do something else with your time. Because compared to someone who's preparing for CAT full time, they have a lot of time on their hands, and even if they do waste some of their time, it is okay. They can make up for it. But if you're a working professional, you have a very limited amount of time. So it will be prudent to make the most of it, and be consistent in your efforts. Even if you're studying for an hour a day or half an hour a day, just do that, but do it every day. Um, don't don't cut yourself some slack in between just because you are
Right,
demotivated, because ultimately motivation also comes from practice only. So if you practice
correct,
hard, you will score well, and it will act as a motivator. So I feel we should not let demotivate. We should not feel demotivated. We should not let that come in the way of our preparation.
right,
And real consistency is the key, and practice obviously. So one thing that I've learned the hard way, that it is difficult somewhat to crack CAT if you're not doing well in your college, if you don't have good grades. So people take their grades slightly, but I feel good grades definitely help. um, not just for cat but overall also in your life. So
Yeah.
try to be consistent with your academics and like do the best that you can. um, it's not too late, even if you're in college, if you want that preparation from your third year or fourth year. So try to raise your grades, try to do better than
Great.
you are doing right now, so that will help you later, in securing course as well as converting them. So,
Okay.
and the rest of the things, I feel it is the same for us all, whoever is preparing for that.
Great. Wonderful. So thanks a lot, Sugandha. You gave some very valuable insights. And also, thank you so much for sharing all these with us. And I wish you all the best for your MBA journey at FMS.
So thanks for having me, and I would like to thank Krakow and all the faculty who are teaching at Krakow. I benefited a lot from their free material, the free YouTube videos, as well as the test series and the sectionals that I bought. And
Great.
it is a very good resource for someone who wants to start their preparation for CAT. And it is also very inexpensive compared to the other resources that are out there, and the quality is unmatched, so I would recommend it 100% to anyone who wants to start their application. All the best
Yeah.
to all of you guys.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks a lot. And yeah, all the best.
Thank you.